Do you want to know how to plan social media posts? In the next few minutes, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about using a social media marketing plan spreadsheet and how to organize content using Metricool. My name is ELISE Nelson, and I help tech challenge makers build a profitable e-commerce brand. Thanks for joining me on my YouTube channel where I offer lessons that are 15 minutes or less to help you grow your e-commerce shop. In this short video, I'm going to share with you my social media posting schedule Excel template. It is truly the easiest social media organization system, and it works perfectly to organize content on Metricool's social media scheduler. Before we jump into this maker lesson, I'd love to know if you organize your content for social media, and if you do, how? Leave a comment and let me know. All right, so let's start with the basic question, the elephant in the room, if you will. Why should you use a spreadsheet to organize your posts? The long and short of it is, it's the easiest way to organize your social media. You can easily organize hundreds or even thousands of posts on one spreadsheet. You can keep copy together with their creatives, the images and videos, which is something that is very difficult to find a good way to do. It's easy to hand off to an employee when your business grows, and so if you get used to doing this now, it'll make it really simple for you in the future. It's also easy to use with any scheduler, or just to keep things organized for manual posting if you prefer manual posting. It also makes posting months or even years of content take just a few clicks when you use it with the Metricool scheduler. Now, my social media marketing plan spreadsheet is called the easiest social media organization system because it's so easy to use. If you want to grab a copy, click the link in the description. Let's go ahead and jump right into the spreadsheet. So here we are on the instructions tab, and you can see this says read first instructions down here at the bottom of the spreadsheet. This is where you want to start. You need to make sure you do the stuff here first before you try and do anything else. And the very first thing you need to do is put in your brand name, because when you're posting with Metricool, the brand name is super important and is going to automatically be imported on particular types of posts. So putting your brand name here is going to help you immensely. The next thing I want to point out about this spreadsheet is that it is specifically designed to work with my 7-minute-a-day social media challenge, where we create 17 weeks of posts for your feeds across all social media platforms in just 7 minutes a day. It also works very well with my second social media challenge, which is called the Social Media Growth Challenge, where I help you create 17 different types of short form vertical video that are perfect for TikTok, Reels, and Stories so that you can get more eyes on your content. This is the instructions. The next thing we want to look at in the instructions is that you should not ever reorder, delete, or add rows or columns to this spreadsheet, or you will mess up all the formulas. Now, some of these formulas are essential to using it with the Metricool scheduler, but some of them are essential for you just being able to see if you have the right amount of words in your content. So I will show you how that works in just a moment, but suffice it to say you should never delete or add or reorder anything. And I'll show you some caveats to that where you can get away with it. But for right now, I want you to just understand, don't do these things. So basically the way the spreadsheet works is you are going to have to, number one, click File, Make a Copy to save an editable version of the spreadsheet for you to use. Otherwise, when you edit the spreadsheet, it would be edited for everybody else who wants a blank version. So all you're going to do is you're going to go to File, Make a Copy, and then you're going to choose what folder you want to put it in your own Google Drive and what you want it to be called, and then click OK. Once you've done that, you will be able to do the rest of the things we're going to show you here on how to use the spreadsheet. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fill in the different topic tabs with the information that you need to actually create a post. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment. So that's what's here. The most important thing is that you should not edit anything in the export tabs. Now, the export tabs are going to be at the end, and we'll talk about those in just a moment. I also have instructions here on how to randomize and sort your posting order, which I will also demonstrate in just a moment. So let's go ahead and move over to the topic tabs. So all of these tabs that have a little asterisk are topic tabs. The topic tabs are where you are supposed to edit and put your information. Depending upon which type of topic tab you are using, you may have a date and time or you may not. So on the generic, you can do a dated or undated version. All these other versions, you'll notice, do not have a date. And then the second type of tab that will have a date is the holiday tab, because typically you want your holidays to post on the date that the holiday is happening. So the date and the time is on the holiday tab and the generic tab. The rest of these tabs are specifically for creating evergreen posts. If you want more information about evergreen content, you should go back. There's another video in this playlist that will show you more about what evergreen content is and why you should be using it for your e-commerce brand. All right, so there are 7 topic tabs, and I'm going to go over those with you in just a moment. In my social media challenges, I recommend focusing on 6 different types of content so that you can recycle social media posts and stop worrying about constantly creating new posts. Those types of content are brand awareness, engagement, reviews, quotes, holidays, and product posts. You'll notice that those are 6 types. The reason is because I recommend posting about your products twice a week. So with those 6 types, you should have 7 days of posts for your social media. The final tab here in the spreadsheet is the generic tab, and this is going to be for you if you don't necessarily want to break up your post into different types, although I highly recommend doing so, and you just want to keep everything on one spreadsheet, or if you have an additional type that isn't going to fall under one of these categories. If you want more help with your e-commerce brand, be sure to subscribe and sign up for notifications right here on my YouTube channel, where I offer lessons that are 15 minutes or less to help you grow your e-commerce shop. So let's talk a little bit about spreadsheets. So I'm giving you you're getting a spreadsheet to use, and now I expect you to know how to use it. And a lot of you probably are not familiar with spreadsheets. So I'm going to go over a few basic things that you need to know if you want to use a spreadsheet. Number 1, for this particular spreadsheet, we've already mentioned it, but I just want to make sure you understand, you should only be editing the tabs that have an asterisk. If you edit any of the other tabs that do not have this little star, this little asterisk, you will mess up the formulas. So do not edit any tabs that do not have this asterisk. Next, you should never cut, reorder, delete, or add rows or columns to this spreadsheet, or the formulas, again, will not work. So what do you do if there's a column that you don't want to look at? So for example, maybe you don't use LinkedIn for your business. If you click the column title, so this is column F, it will select the entire column. Then if you right click on that, it will open up this little drop. You can then hide the column, and now you don't have to look at it anymore. So if there are specific columns that you do not want to see, hiding them is what you should do instead of deleting them. Now, I know that there's a hidden column for 2 reasons. 1, I know what the alphabet is, and there's an F missing. And 2, it has these little arrows, these little carrots right here. If I click on one of those, it will give me back the column that was hidden previously. So that is how you hide and unhide your columns. So if you need to hide anything, you can totally do that so you don't have to look at it anymore. The next thing you need to know is how to add returns. If I come into each of these rows is a different post. That is how the spreadsheet is set up. So one post for all of these platforms is in one row. So if you want to use returns, if I come into the Pinterest message and I, put, okay, so I'm typing in here to create my copy for this post for Pinterest. Now if I hit enter, I'm on the next post. That is not what we want to do. We want to actually have a return in the Pinterest post so that we can continue typing and have different, rows for each one. So I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to double click on it so I can go into it and edit it. And if I click Alt and hold it while I hit enter, it will put a new row. So now you can see I'm in the same one, but I'm on a new row. There are actually 2 places where you can be doing your editing. You can do it right here in the cell like I'm showing you now, or you can come up here and do it in here. So I'm going to click on the cell again, and I can double click into here and I can edit here. But do you see how this is really short and I can only see one line? If I arrow down, I can see other lines. But I can actually just come right up here until my cursor turns in that double arrow, click and pull down, and now I can see the entire message. So this is a much easier way to look at your posts so that you can see everything that you're typing. So let's come into here to edit. So now I've clicked, you can see my cursor is in here. If I hit Alt Enter again, it's going to give me another row, okay? So let's say, I don't usually use hashtags on Pinterest, but let's say we were going to use a hashtag here. This would be a great way to add your hashtags. So that is how you're going to add returns to your copy. Now, let's say I have this copy in some other source, and I want to paste it into my spreadsheet. So I'm going to copy it by hitting Control C, or you can right click and hit copy. And now I want to paste it in here. So if I click and just right click and hit paste, do you see how it went into different rows? Which means this is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 posts. 4 of them have nothing on them, but it's 6 posts. I don't want it to do that when I'm trying to paste copy from another source. So I'm going to undo that. If I come up here and click and right click and hit paste, it is all in one cell again. So if you're copying and pasting from an outside source, you need to make sure you're putting it in up here. And if you are doing it in right here and writing it in here, you need to make sure that you are hitting Alt Enter to create a new line. All right, so that is how you are going to copy and paste from an outside source and how to add returns to your copy that you're writing right here in the spreadsheet. Now I want to talk to you about resizing your row height. So you can see when I'm doing this, it is making it so this cell is taller. And that's fine, unless you end up writing a very long post. Oops. So let's say your post looks like this. Now that one post is taking up the entire page, and I don't want it to do that. So you can come over here and you can click on, see, and this is exactly the problem. So do you see how I can't click on this because it's like that? So one thing you can do is you can select multiple rows. You're going to click and just drag. So we're going to drag all the way up to the 2. And then we're going to come to one of these smaller ones, and we're going to get the double arrow and then click and drag to make it the size we want. And now if I come back up to row 2, you can see that post is now small. And this is something that's really important, especially if you're going to be doing long posts, because it makes it really hard for you to go through different posts when they're so long. Okay, so that is how to resize your row height. The next thing I want to talk about is how to change your text wrapping. So sometimes when you're copying and pasting things into the spreadsheet, your text wrapping will change. Text wrapping means what the text does when it overflows. So do you see how this says this is Pinterest and then the rest and message is cut off? Sometimes that will change and it'll be going into other columns. It makes it really hard to see what's happening with your post. The way you change your row wrapping, your text wrapping, is by coming up here to the text wrapping feature. There are 3 different options. So one is to have it turn, like the way it did there. That's the wrong thing. One is to have it cut off and clip like that. And then the final one is to have it overflow. So overflow is where this is all actually in the Pinterest cell, but it's going into, and you can see it in the Google My Business. My preference is to use the clip feature so that everything stays in the column that it's actually from, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that you had options here. The next thing I want to talk about is how to sort or randomize your content. So to demonstrate this, I'm just going to copy these cells and put them in a different place in each of these rows so that you'll be able to easily see what it is that I am talking about. So what I have done is I have put these in different places. So each of these rows has this copy in a different place. And I wouldn't actually put this in the date and time, but I want you to understand what sorting and randomizing does. So what you're going to do is you are going to select the part of your copy or your posts that you want to change the order of. I am going to select this like this. And you do not want to include where all these numbers are on the side. So you're only going to include where your copy and your images are. We haven't actually put any images in here yet, but if you had images in here, you would want to make sure that you select all the way over to the last cell. So do you see how I stopped before I got to the numbers? So you want to click and drag to select everything you want. And now I'm missing row 7 on this one. So let me come back over. I'm going to do this again. Here we go. All right, so now I've selected everything that I want to organize. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up to Data, and you can click on Sort Range, which is what you want. You don't want to sort the sheet because that'll move everything around. And you can sort it by a specific column. So right now it's trying to sort by column N because that was the column that I clicked first. But you can also go to Advanced Range Sorting Options, and I can sort this by any column I want. So if I wanted to sort it by column A and do it by A to Z or Z to A, then I can do that. Or you can select a different column. So if I want to do it by column F. So you have lots of different choices here. Then you're just going to click on Sort. And it will automatically sort by column F. So you see how this one now moved to the top? And since this one and this one both have content, they're both at the top, and all the ones with no content in this particular column are now at the bottom. I'm going to undo that so that you can see how it moved. Do you see how everything moved around when I did the sort? So that is after sorting. This is before sorting. And you can see the difference there as it sorted the content. Sometimes you're going to want to sort things alphabetically, and that is going to do that for you. All right, so the other option here is going to be to randomize it. So if you come up to data, you can also go to randomize range, and it will automatically mix everything up. And so that's what it means to randomize. Now it'll keep the things in the row together. So one row will still stay that same row, but it'll mix up the order of the rows. You can also access the sort and the randomize by right-clicking, and if you go to view more cell actions, you can see randomize range is there as well. And if I go to view more cell actions, and you can see sort range is there as well. And you get that same exact thing where you can sort from A to Z or Z to A. So that is how to randomize or sort your content. Before we jump into the rest of this lesson, please like this video. Also be sure to stick with me to the end of the video to learn your challenge for today so that you can implement what you've learned. Okay, now let's work on creating one post that will go across different platforms and have the correct copy for each platform. So you're going to start with your date and time if the type of post that you're doing requires it. If it does not require a date and time, you can skip those. But when you use the date and time, you want to make sure that you use a specific format. So your date needs to be month, and there's several different ways you can do your date. Probably whatever date you use is fine. And when you go to upload them, you'll just have to change your date source in Metricool. I use month, day, year. Then for your time, you have to use hour, minute, second, and you have to use a colon in that format. So if I wanted this to post at 12 noon, I would do it like that. Then you can create your message for Facebook. So if you wanted to add the hashtags and other things for Facebook, you can do that as well. I am not going to add any hashtags to Facebook, but I would add my URL. Like so. And if you wanted that to be on a separate line, again, you have to hit Alt-Enter to make it go to the next line. So that is my Facebook message. Now, I want to take this Facebook message and I want to change it into what I need for the various platforms. So for Twitter, I am going to use that same message, only I'm going to add hashtags. I'm going to hit Alt-Enter, and I'm going to do hashtag Twitter, hashtag, hashtag, another hashtag. Okay? And so that's how I'm going to set up my message for Twitter. So I've added the hashtags. Now I come to Instagram. So I'm going to, again, copy this message. I'm going to go to Instagram. I'm going to paste it. And I need to add a bunch more hashtags. So however many you're going to use. And again, it's debatable how many you need. That's a whole nother conversation. I do actually have a hashtag video if you're interested in that. But however many hashtags you want to add for Instagram, it is probably going to be more than the number of hashtags you use for Twitter. Then for LinkedIn, and for Instagram, you do not want to use the URL. So here you're going to say, click link in bio. And put your handle. The reason we do that is because on Instagram, they can click that at your handle and it will take them directly to your bio where they can then click the URL that will take them where you want them to go. So that's why we do it there for that way for Instagram. Then for LinkedIn, I usually use the same message that I used for Twitter. But you're free to change that up however you want to do it. For Pinterest, I usually use a very similar message as well. I may or may not use hashtags. And then for Google My Business, it's basically the same thing as well. Like so. So now I have different copy for each platform so that I know that this will be posted. Now, if we are using TikTok, that would have to be a video because TikTok does not accept images. Put your TikTok message in there as well. Next, we have a notes column, and this would be where you put any information that you wanted to remember about this particular post. Maybe you have a couple different hashtag options. So right now you're going to use these hashtags, but then you want to have a different option for hashtags later. You can put those in here. Any kind of information that you need to know about the post, you can put there. If you're using one of the challenges, there may be a note here that tells you what assignment is supposed to go in this particular row. Then you're going to come over here to where you put your images, your videos, your creatives, right? So images or videos. And each of these are assigned based upon the ideal size for the particular platform. You can see that Instagram, LinkedIn, and Google My Business all have a square format. Facebook and Twitter have a horizontal rectangle format, and Pinterest has a vertical rectangle format, and TikTok has a vertical rectangle format. Now, TikTok has to be a video, and if you're using Metricool, you cannot use video to post to Pinterest. So you're going to have some limits there. TikTok can't be an image, and Pinterest cannot be a video. So those are where you're going to put your images. Now, if you are using the same image across platforms, you will need to get the link from your Google Drive and put the link in all of the places you're planning on posting. So let me get a link to show you. Okay, so here we are in some creatives that I've used for TikTok. These are videos. It doesn't really matter whether it's a video or an image. You're going to come into your Google Drive. You're going to click on whatever it is that you're wanting to use. So you can see this one is now highlighted because it's blue. You can then either right click and click on Get Link. Or if it is selected, it has to be blue, you can click on the little link icon up here. Either way, you're going to then click on Copy Link. But before you do that, you need to double check and make sure that this says anyone with the link. If this is not available to anyone, the scheduler will not be able to get these images and you will not be able to upload this to Metricool. If you are just using this to organize your posts, then by all means you can use a link that is not anyone with the link. But if you do want to upload it to Metricool, it has to say anyone with the link. There are two ways to change this to say anyone with the link. You can do it on each individual image by simply clicking here and changing it to anyone with the link. But that means you will have to do that on every single image that you're using, and more than likely all your images are in the same folder. So your alternative is to come up here to the folder and click on Get Link for the folder, and then change the entire folder to anyone with the link. What happens then is every single piece of content in that folder also is available to anyone with the link. So that's what I recommend. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to click on Get My Link, then I'm going to click on Copy Link, and then I'm going to head back over to my scheduler, and I'm going to put that link right here. Now, again, if I am using the same link for all of my platforms, then I'm simply going to copy the same link and paste it into each of those image sections right here. Now I'm going to come over here to where some magic formula stuff is happening, okay? We have a formula set up to automatically count the characters in each of your posts and the hashtags for Instagram because there's a limit of 30. So if we look over here, we can see that our All Networks or Facebook post has 31 characters. Twitter has 64, Instagram has 107, Instagram hashtags are 4, LinkedIn messages 64, Pinterest messages 64, and the Google My Business message is 31. And since I didn't create a message in TikTok, it says it's 0. If any of these exceeded the lengths that are allowed, they would turn red. This makes it so that you can immediately see if there's a problem with any of your copy or your hashtag counts, and so you can make sure that this is going to actually work and post when you upload it to Metricool or when you just copy and paste this if you're doing your posting manually. Today's question was, do you organize your content for social media, and if you do, how? Leave a comment and let me know. Get the full Metricool tutorial by watching the Metricool tutorial playlist. Also be sure to get the easiest social media organization system and schedule all your posts on all your platforms with one spreadsheet. The links are in the description. Also be sure to watch my last YouTube video about creating posts in your new auto list using Metricool for your e-commerce business. In the next video, we'll be discussing how to repurpose content using Metricool and what the non-asterisk tabs in the spreadsheet are for. So today we only covered the asterisk tabs, but if you keep scrolling, you will see there's all of these non-asterisk tabs. Sign up for the next social media challenge and create 17 weeks of posts or short form vertical video for TikTok Reels and Stories. The links for both of those challenges are in the description. Your challenge for today is to write the copy for an evergreen post for each platform you'd like to post on and make the creative, an image or a video, to go along with it. So the goal here is to have a different copy for each platform based upon what that platform wants in this system. Don't forget to live your dream every single day, and I will see you in the next lesson.